Hello gamers and welcome to a walkthrough tutorial on how you can get into competitive Super Auto Pets. So, you have been playing SAP for a little while and you think you're pretty good at the game, huh? You probably get a lot of 10 wins in arena, you probably have a lot of achievements, maybe you play some rank and have a pretty decent elo, maybe you want to push for the leaderboard, and you want to see where the better players at, where they talk about the game, where can you see them play the game, what are the actual best strats for the game, or maybe you want to test yourself against these players. Well, this video has the answers for you. Let me show you where you should start, what tournaments can you join, and how you should approach getting better at the game. For certain, if you want to start your journey as a SAP competitive player, you have to start with the SAP Dojo Discord server. The dojo is where the best players in the world are, where they talk about the game, where they show themselves played the game, where all the tournaments are hosted, where the best and biggest tournaments are hosted, and most importantly is where newer players to the scene go to try to get better. If you heard Discord server and you were a little bit put off by it, don't worry, the dojo can look a little bit daunting with all the channels and all the labels and whatnot, but don't worry, you can get used to it pretty quickly. I used to not be a Discord user at all, but when I entered Dojo, everything just fell into place. So if you want to be a competitive SAP player, you need to go to the dojo. The link is gonna be in the description, as well as links for everything that I mentioned in this video. And well, now that we are in the dojo, where should we go? What tournaments can we play? Well, if we're talking about dojo tournaments, we have to start with Team Tour, the grand team tour that you have heard so many people talk about. Rev GT, Super Auto Gaming, Flame 96, Revolving Coke, Giomber, your favorite YouTubers has probably played in Team Tour. It's because Team Tour is the flagship tournament of the whole community. Let me explain you how it works. As the name implies, Team Tour is a team tournament. All the players selected get put into a draft pool, where captains take their turns to select players to fill out their teams, like making teams in dodgeball in recess. Once the teams are formed, they play each other every week for a 7-week regular season into a 3-week playoffs to crown the best team of the season. Now you're probably thinking, am I good enough to play in Team Tour? And the answer is probably yes. Team Tour is supposed to be open for everyone, for a couple of reasons. And the main reason for this is the seed system. You see how in the draft board the draft is split into rounds? Well, these players get assigned to their different seeds, which basically indicates their rough skill level, and those players can only play other opponents of their similar seeds. For example, if you were to be a 9 seed, you can only play up to a 7 seed. It's made this way so matchups are more fair and you can play opponents of more of your similar skill. That's one of the reasons why it's great for newcomers, because you're not gonna get thrown into the wolves and you're not gonna be playing a top 15 player in your first set and then get destroyed and get discouraged and just leave. No, you're gonna be playing players that are in your same boat, that maybe are starting out, they are trying to figure out how to actually play the game competitively, and so it should be way more fair for newcomers. And also, the other reason why Team Tour is great for newcomers, and probably the bigger reason, is the coaching element. Since it is a team event, every player matters. So the higher level players are encouraged to try to teach the lower seed players how to play better, how to get better, how to think about the game better, how to improve their gameplay throughout the season. This coaching element makes Team Tour a great way of getting better at the game. And finally, but certainly not least, Team Tour is a great way to get into the community exactly for that reason, for the community aspect. You get to meet your team, engage with them, bond with them for these weeks that Team Tour lasts, and you get to meet the rest of the community pretty much. Most of the active community of the dojo is engaged in Team Tour, whether they're playing or not. And so you get to meet a lot of great people about the game, and not only you're gonna be rubbing shoulders with good people playing the game, but you also may find a few friends. I've met a lot of friends playing Team Tour, and I cannot recommend enough joining if you like that social aspect, if that aspect sounds enticing to you. And yeah, that's pretty much it about Team Tour. It's 7 to 10 weeks of you getting to meet the community and getting to meet people that want you to get better. And if you're watching this video sometime close to the date of publishing, Team Tour signups are currently now open. It's gonna be the first link in the description down below. I cannot recommend enough joining Team Tour. But well, let's keep it moving. And we were just talking about the biggest team tournament in the whole competitive scene. But what about the biggest individual tournament? Well, for that, we had to take a little detour from SAP Dojo and talk about SAP Summit. SAP Summit is the most important single-player tournament in all competitive SAP. Summit is a year-long cycle of major tournaments, mini tournaments that culminates in a World Championship tournament. And unlike Team Tour, which is mostly played just for bragging rights, SAP Summit has great prize pools, not only monetary prize pools. The winner of the whole summit gets an exclusive platinum hat, and also these cool little plaques to display that you have actually made top 3 in Summit. Provided by Teamwood, by the way. Thank you so much, Teamwood. You may hear this and think, oh well, SAP Summit is not for me, it's for the best of the best players. And yes, the intent for Summit is to find the best player of Super Autopets during the whole year cycle. There's events for everyone. The minis that I mentioned, they're usually just open-ended. Everyone can sign up, no matter your skill level, and you can give it a go. And who knows, maybe you're good enough to try to compete, to earn points, and maybe, even maybe, from now to a year later, you can play in the next World Championship. As I said, this is a little bit of a detour from the dojo because Summit is hosted in its own server, but it's the same people, it's run by very similar organizers, myself included. The link for that Discord is also gonna be in the description, but you can find your way into Summit if you get into the SAP Dojo. And now that we just talked about SAP Summit, let's talk about its little fun branch that it has, which is called SAP Safari. SAP Safari was born out of a desire of organizers of having a little bit more fun with custom packs. While SAP Summit is strictly about static packs, Turtle, Star, Poppy, Golden, you know the deal, Customs gets a little bit more wacky. For example, right now, it's running a version of Team Tour, but it's played with random custom packs. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, join that same server as Summit, and maybe you can find something for you. Maybe you go to this part and you're maybe thinking, oh, Team Tour seems like too much of a commitment, or I don't want the team aspect, or maybe the sign-up's already closed, or I don't feel like I'm good enough for Summit, why even bother? What are some tournaments that you can join right now, no matter your skill level or level of time commitment? Well, let me present to you SAP League. SAP League is a continuous system of tournaments hosted entirely within the SAP Dojo that works basically like a more elaborated version of the in-game ranked. How it works is when you join, you get assigned a rank based on your skill level. So bronze, silver, gold, that good stuff. And when you join a tournament, you get assigned to a group of players of your same rank. So, very much like Team Tour, you end up playing opponents of your similar skill. When you join a tournament, you have 2 weeks to play a few sets against these opponents, and then when the group closes, you can either promote if you did well in the group, or you can demote in your rank if you didn't do that well. And that's the beauty of League. You can join whenever you want, whenever you have time, whenever you feel like you want some competitive sets, if you want to give it a try, if it's your absolute first time in Dojo, you can just join. The join button is gonna be always available for SAP League. And that's the entire goal of it. Joining and getting some reps in, knowing what a competitive set is, and then eventually climb up the ranks and see how high you can get. It may sound like I'm glazing SAP League, and that may have to do with the fact that I invented SAP League and I run SAP League, but trust me, I really do think League is a great way to get your very first competitive sets in and getting accustomed to what the SAP Dojo is. And also it does have a little bit of the community aspect because you get to meet the people in your group, you get to schedule with them, you get to know them. And a lot of people have told me that League is a great way also to meet people. You eventually start running into the same players, you get to know them, and it turns out into a pretty fun experience, I believe. SAP League is a great way of getting a quick fix of competitive sets, but if you want something even more immediate, even more short form, even more even goofy if you wanna say it, let me introduce you to the Super Auto Weekly server. This server, as the name implies, runs a tournament every week, roughly every weekend at varying times to accommodate for different time zones. And the beauty of this is that it's just one evening. It's just a double elimination bracket, and the most goofy thing about it, it is best of one. So you can just get lucky, beat a top player, and you're going through to the next round, and you can even win the tournament. We have seen a lot of different people win this weekly tournaments, and it's just a very fun, quick experience. If the tournament happens to be at a time that you can be present for a few hours, definitely recommend joining it. These are also run in a server outside of Dojo, which I'm gonna, of course, link in the description as everything that I've mentioned and I'm gonna mention, but you can also find these links within Dojo. Let's go back a little bit into Dojo and talk about one of the classic series of tournaments the server has, which is the Masters of the Dojo. This is one of the more standard, traditional formats, pretty straightforward, that the dojo runs. Basically a long form tournament of groups going into a bracket in which the gimmick is every Master of the Dojo tournament is centered around one pack. So you always play mirrors. So for the MOTD turtle, you only play the turtle pack. And then it goes to Poppy, into Star, into all the other packs, and then it cycles back to turtle. With one last fun thing about it, is the winner of the tournament gets to become the master of the dojo, and then the next winner, when that pack comes around in the rotation, can challenge the current master to become the new master. MOTD is pretty much always gonna be running, so it's very likely that you're gonna catch some open signups for the next one. So I highly recommend it if you enjoy playing other packs, if you have other packs besides Turtle. And of course, for the Turtle tournament, I recommend joining it too. Now, we've pretty much talked about every main stage tournament that gets run within Dojo and within the Dojo ecosystem, but sometimes you get some special events. Some people want to run a one-off tournament with a little gimmick, and those you can find in the indie events announcement channel. And you can find all sort of stuffs here. Tournaments about random packs, tournaments about hard mode toys, duos tournaments. So many formats get posted here, so be on the lookout for that channel because those tournaments are also free to entry, no skill level required. It's really recommended because in that channel is where most of the more memorable tournaments start off. And well, I think that covers everything as far as tournaments, but now I want to talk about how you can approach getting better. Not necessarily precise tips of how to play the game, but what can you do to put yourself in a position to be better and get ready for competitive SAP? First off, let's talk about how you on your own can try to get better. One thing that a lot of people are gonna recommend is watch your replays. Watch your losses and see why you lost. Go through the turns, look at the important decisions that you made, and evaluate if they were correct or not. Was it correct to take that monkey, or maybe you should have gone for the shark? Was it correct to go for the skunk, or you could have maybe gone for a penguin on the level up? Not only your teams, start looking at what the other team is doing. Why are they positioning like this? Why are they buying this unit when I think that unit is not great? Why are they combining pets where it doesn't make sense? Start thinking about what the other player is trying to do to win, and in the replays, you have all the time in the world. You can evaluate what happened in hindsight, and that's a great way of starting to understand the game and how you're approaching the game. And when you're done watching your own gameplay, it's always also recommended watch good players play the game. There's plenty of resources out there. First of all, in YouTube, you can catch most of the SAP Summit sets that I previously mentioned. So this is the very top tier gameplay and with great commentary. So you can understand what top players are thinking about the game. And besides Summit, there's a lot of good players that are also posting versus content on YouTube. You have Amsa Red Hum, of course, you should have heard of Hamza already. Great content on various packs. Sai is posting some videos that are very, very helpful in terms of versus. And also you can find some older videos. For example, Coke used to be the king of uploading to YouTube. RepGT still has some competitive sets on his YouTube channel. Jumper, Flame. This can be a little outdated, but there's a lot of things that still translate. But you're not only restricted to YouTube. Go to Twitch and go see people play the game live. There is a bunch of Team Tour players streaming their sets on Twitch. You can just go there, hang out, see what their player is doing, see what the chat is saying about the gameplay, and you can learn a lot from there. I'm gonna link in the description a bunch of Team Tour players that are usually streaming either their sets or just playing the game in general. And finally, as far as watching people play the game, going to Dojo into the voice chats, you are very, very likely to find someone playing either a set, or maybe they're grinding ranked, maybe they're playing friendlies against each other, and also you can gather a lot of information with those VCs. And that's only if you want to learn by yourself, because I think the most powerful tool to learn is just ask people. We are nerds. We are complete nerds in the SAP Dojo. We love talking about the game. We love talking about micro decisions, about optimizing. So if you post a screenshot of even an arena game saying, should I take this level up or this level up? There's gonna be people that are gonna show up and tell you what you probably should do, and then someone's gonna jump in and say, oh well, I think he should do this, and they start having a debate, and then you start getting into their mind, and you're gonna get an answer, but you're also gonna get a good insight on how you should be thinking about these decisions. And it doesn't go only as far as just posting screenshots and they're gonna give you the answer. You can yourself jump into these voice channels, stream your games, and people are gonna help you. The dojo is a very, very helping community. We know we are not the biggest, let's say, not even an esport, but just a competitive scene. So every new player that jumps in, we try to we want them to stay, so we want them to be better. We try for them to be better. So we're gonna help you. Jump in the VC if you're confident, of course. You don't have to. And people are gonna try to help you. And you can go even further than that. You start meeting a couple new people, you start meeting some good players, and some of those are willing to just coach you for free. You can just ask them and they are happy to do so. I'm gonna keep repeating, we love talking about the game, so any new opportunity to teach a newer player in the competitive scene, we gladly take it. But yeah, I think that wraps everything up. Those are the servers you should be joining. Those are the tournaments that are being ran and you can participate in. And those are a lot of ways on how you can get better in this start of your competitive Super Autopets career. I'm planning to post more videos talking about the game and about the competitive scene and how to try to get better throughout the game, trying to show my own games from League or Team Tour, stuff like that. So if you are interested in more SAP versus more competitive SAP, definitely hit that subscribe button because the content is coming soon. I think this is gonna be a pretty long video, so if you stick through the end, thank you so much. Hope to see you in the next time.